Rocket!
Hello. Welcome, YouTube. How are y'all doing tonight? We got a Lothcat. Lothcat. What is it, Heather? Help an old man out.
It's a lost cat.
Okay, good. Well, we've got a exciting episode coming up for all y'all, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR, Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 243. We hope you and yours are well, and with everything crazy going on, we want to continue to be a platform that promotes positivity, life, and hope, and a little Star Wars along the way. And speaking of which, today we are doing a creature feature for our special Halloween episode. Ooh, spooky. But first, before we go talking about some amazing monsters and creatures, let's see who we got here. Miss Carla Giacalone, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for stopping by. And we have Miss Heather Allred.
Hello. I feel like I had to be very dramatic.
Of everyone here, you're probably the Beastmaster of the episode. You've got the Lothcat, you've got Grogu back there, and a fox, I think.
Grogu's back there.
Maybe a corgi?
It's a corgi.
Oh, okay. Looks like
JD's
a
not
fox
here,
a
so
little.
I have to fulfill the corgi.
Perfect. All right, so Heather, while we have you on the phone, why don't you go ahead and tease that news?
Oh, sure thing. All right, I've got 3 news items for you this fine evening. And that would be Misa back.
Nice.
I also have bigger is better.
Ladies.
Apparently. And then lastly, never forget.
Can't wait. Well, until we get to the news, we got some bigger fish to fry. Speaking of some creatures, let's jump into our main topic. Okay, so turn back the calendar a couple pages, and way back in episode 146, we talked about monsters, Monster Mash, for our Halloween episode of 2019. So please go check that out. But there's a lot more to talk about. This is Monsters Part 2 for WSTR. So yeah, we just want to take a moment to celebrate all the non-human, non-sentient creatures and monsters in the Star Wars universe, of which there are many. But first, let's maybe talk about in a more general sense, what do you think makes Star Wars creatures unique from other sci-fi? Or Carla, I was thinking of you, like, what do you think separates like Star Wars monsters from monsters in Lord of the Rings, for example?
I think there's definitely more diversity, if that's the label you want to put on it. Obviously, Tolkien's world is a little bit more confined than Lucas's world. You have one place, I guess, like one planet, Arda, with Middle Earth and all that. So you're restricted to what orcs, goblins, men, elves, and dwarves, basically. So with Star Wars, you have a vast array of so many different creatures, from, underwater creatures to, ice world creatures to desert creatures, swamp creatures. It's just cool to kind of see like that whole, spectrum of diversity that's in the Star Wars universe when it comes to monsters and creatures that are, some are cute, some are scary, some are like, whoa, what the hell is that thing? Yeah, so it's definitely like got like a stamp to it when it comes to looking at, I think, other fandoms that we see that are out there. So I love it. I think it makes it more fun.
Yeah, I think when you look at something like Lord of the Rings, it seems like a remix of a bunch of older traditional creatures where Star Wars, it's just something that's it's hard to put into words, but just has this certain feeling about it that is unmistakably Star Wars. Um, Unless it's just like elephants with a bunch of hair on them.
Yeah. Or dragons. Well, there are dragons in both.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. How can I forget about dragons? It's like, yeah.
Heather, what do you think separates Star Wars creatures from anything else?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I echo everything Carla said, but I think what's even more specifically interesting from that idea of like the water and sand and forest and, you know, all of the different planets is even the diversity in identification. So I think you've got some creatures that you're like, I don't know what you're based off of other than an acid trip. Or clearly you've got like a loth cat where the influences of the cat breed or a fish breed or something. Or that's just this weird, you know, blob that, you know, holds people prisoner, you know, like what is the influence behind it? So I think I like that element of diversity as well. That it can go from it makes sense to what?
Yeah. And that's a good point. You have some creatures in Star Wars that are kind of there for yucks, or just because they look weird, and that's what George wants. Just put it in there. And then you also have a ton of other creatures that are just like terrifying, like like in Phantom Menace when under Naboo, like the fish that consecutively get like bigger and start eating each other. And then you have like this giant crocodile thing with arms. You're like, oh my god. So there is that variety there. We've got DJ Red4 in the YouTube chat saying that believability is what sets the monsters apart. And I certainly think there's an element to that, like not picking on Lord of the Rings, but you get this race of orcs that are like hatched in the ground and pulled out of these sacks, and you're like, what? And there's just an element of reality to the creatures in Star Wars, most of them maybe, but that there's just something practical about them. Like I'm thinking of the Minox that kind of like fly through space and they just like hook onto ships and sap their power away. It's like, not only is that, maybe the whole surviving the hard vacuum of space is a bit stretching it, but the fact that they're kind of like vultures and like ships are their target, it's really interesting in a believable way, and it also advances the drama of the story, where you have them trapped in an asteroid and they got to get rid of these things or they'll never get out. So yeah, I'd have to agree with that, I think.
And they've got that like oh my gosh, what's the word? Because they're living inside of the Exogorth, symbiotic relationship, which is like, very close to biology and how, a lot of, parasites or, other animals, benefit from each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, creatures never exist in isolation. It's always as a part of a larger whole. Well, Star Wars also uses a lot of creatures to teach us lessons, and maybe let's talk about what we can learn from that, and maybe what some of those creatures are. I'm thinking of that snake thing in Dagobah that just kind of like silently slithers through the swamp, and right when Luke's not looking, chomps down on R2 and then spits him out. Like immediately, it's just like this weird thing. It's almost Lovecraftian, and it's just like there to kind of humble Luke and R2 and teach him a lesson. Like, yeah, this is a dangerous place, so maybe watch your step before you go. And there's always going to be things that you don't understand, and that if you're not cautious about you're going to pay the price.
Agreed. I'm just going to quote Qui-Gon and say there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
seems like cheating,
Plain and
Carla.
simple. I mean, he's not wrong, right?
Yeah. And I'm hating myself for doing this, but in The Last Jedi, you've got those like camel things that they rescue in Canto Bight, and they're
what
I think they're what I think they're trying to do is basically saying like where these animals are put into captivity and are trained to just race and entertain, there's another better way that you can, through approaching them with compassion and setting them free, like they will end up being your loyal friends, even as you're like running across a Star Destroyer on them. So take that for what you will.
There's a lot of insight into some of these like non-sentient creatures if you read the From a Certain Point of View books. Yeah, like the one that I can think of off the top of my head is the Dianoga, because you watch that whole scene, they're in the trash compactor, and you just think this thing is, it's just like out to get them, and like you're like, oh, look at this gross eyeball that's coming out of the water. But then when you read the story, if I remember correctly, like it just happened to like get like sucked up with the garbage on the Death Star somehow. I'm forgetting the details, and like it's stuck and it's trying to survive. So there's almost like this feeling of like, you feel sympathy. You're like, oh my gosh, like this poor thing is just trying to live and like I can't get out, So I think even, I guess lesson wise, it's like even if something is not sentient, we don't know like if it has emotions, it has feelings. So just to kind of like have a sense of like sympathy and kindness towards any kind of living being that you come across, even if it's not human like. So yeah, that's what I grabbed from that story.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We're all out there trying to make our way through the universe, even if you're a sewer monster. Okay, so let's transition to some different categories of creatures that we want to talk about today. First, let's take a look at kind of the funniest creatures. What do you think are some of the funnier creatures out there in the Star Wars universe?
I've always really liked Salacious Crumb.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's just fun. They're just his laugh.
Wacky and monkey lizard?
The little monkey lizard, yes. I don't know. There's just something. I mean, obviously, I think he is meant to be comic relief in those particular scenes, but he just reminds me of that. Like if you think of, I don't know, like the Chicago Mob or something, and there's always that one like sidekick who just makes these bad jokes and laughs at them. It's just who he is, and I just find that funny. When I put it in that like mobster mindset, this little short Italian guy laughing at his own jokes. I don't know. It's just all I've got.
Hey.
Kind of like I was thinking like LeFou.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like kind of idiot sidekick that the bad guy keeps around to make him look good.
Yeah. I find him funny.
Yeah. He also looks like a Muppet. Like he's got like the little noodle arms and the spindly legs and the little bug eyes. I appreciate that.
I have one from my, so
go for
just
it.
So everybody, the YouTube chat can see. So guys, I have this book and I whipped it out just for this episode. but it's
Star
got
Wars Alien Archive.
whole bunch. But the first one I stumbled upon was the Wart. And if you can't recall, this is, I believe, a special edition creature that was added in. But
Ooh,
when you see Jabba's
controversial.
palace, when we see the outside of Jabba's palace, and it's kind of like dusk, I think. And it's that little, like, it almost looks like a frog. Here, I'll show it again. That guy right there, the Wart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's like burrowed in the ground. And this little, like, I don't know if it's a womp rat or like a lizard thing, and like it's, crawling, and then it just kind of sticks out in its tongue like real quick and just sucks it right up. But the funny part is that it's, it like gurgles it down and then it just belches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What about cute creatures? Everyone's going to say it.
There's a lot of those.
Everyone's going to say it. The Ewoks.
That actually was not that wasn't my first thought. My thought went to
what was
porgs.
your first thought?
Porgs. That's a good
porgs.
one.
Like, I think porgs have Ewoks beat on the cute factor.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Oh.
Only
I'm
'cause,
just glad Todd isn't here.
Ewoks, because Ewoks sometimes like
their
just,
eyes
like,
are
the
weird.
eyes, like the beady eyes.
Yeah.
To, like, the blank, like, emotionless stare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whereas porgs, obviously, like, with the technology, they were able to get, more of that animated, look. But like when Chewbacca's like roasting the one, and then it's just like it's so sad, but it's so damn cute at the same time. Like,
It is.
Oh.
Everyone, all the other porgs are just looking on in horror.
Yeah. Chewbacca's like, I'm probably gonna eat you anyway. Sorry.
Yeah. That's awesome. I also really love the crystal foxes. I always forget what their actual names are.
No matter what they are, they're just the crystal foxes from here to eternity.
Yeah.
They're just elegant and pretty, and I need more of them in my life.
I have a fondness for foxes, and so when I saw them, my heart grew 3 sizes.
Oh, that's good.
The crystal critters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then maybe unpopular opinion of cuteness. Just go with me for a little while, guys. I think the banthas are really cute.
Yeah.
Wait, Heather, I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, oh my god, are you a weirdo?
Yes.
Practically twins.
They are.
And then the problem is that I really liked them originally, and then they come back in Mandalorian with the Tuscans like cleaning their teeth, and I'm like, oh, it just like elevated the cuteness.
It's like it's almost like how elephants are cute. It's like on that kind of a
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly because they are elephants. But that's okay.
We won't talk about that though.
What about spooky creatures? Scary ones.
Ooh.
The thing in the
I've
pit.
got a few.
Oh, okay.
Chewbacca?
No, that eyeball thing.
I mean, maybe his son.
Thought you were talking about Rogue
Never
One.
mind. Carla wins.
Lumpy.
Carla wins.
Lumpy. There you go. It's a little scary.
So in the Old Republic lore, I know we're going back to that well again.
Way back.
There's these creatures called the Rak Ghoul, and they're basically like,
I have to Google that.
Yeah, R-A-K Ghoul. they're basically like corrupted creatures of the dark side, and it's actually like a disease that spreads from person to person, and it's kind of like they're kind of like zombies, where it just like erodes their personality until they're just like rage and aggression, and they're completely feral. Pretty horrifying. And then knobby white spiders, which I think they're kind of a different. I think they have a different name now, but they showed up in Clone Wars. They showed up in The Mandalorian.
I was gonna say, are those the ones from The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Okay.
They first showed up as concept art for Return of the Jedi. No, for Empire, for Dagobah. And yeah, they're I put them not like scary, but just kind of creepy, where they have like these just giant, like amorphous, like blobby bodies, and the ton of like spindly legs, and they have this like droopy mouth, which like in the original concept art was like laying eggs, and they just have these beady little black eyes, and I don't know, something about the way they move and the way they look is just super creepy for me. And also originally they were supposed to basically disguise themselves as trees on Dagobah, and so they would just like sit still and motionless for days at a time. And I don't know if their color would change or not, but they would basically, like, while motionless, just be able to pass completely for like a tree. And then by the time you noticed it, it was too late, which is like super creepy for me.
Hard pass.
Yeah,
it's a hard no.
Yeah, I don't know, Aaron, if it's because you're in more spooky lighting tonight, but I'm like, I think something's crawling on me.
Yeah. Ooh. There's also something called Star Weirds, which don't look it up if you want to sleep tonight, but because they look very creepy. I don't know where they're from. I just found them and somewhere, and I threw it into my Star Wars game because I wanted something creepy. But yeah, they're like these humanoid creatures that are only found in space. They're like super tall and just like down to the bones thin, really gaunt. They have like these like long, sharp talons, and they have like this shock of white hair and glowing eyes, and they would like appear to like star pilots just like fixing their ship in space, and they'd sometimes attach to vessels traveling through hyperspace, and they would choose a target, and then once you see them, they would like make this telepathic scream that would like stun you and cause you to like cause fear in you, and then
like
they would attack.
Nazgul.
Yeah,
right.
They were capable of using the Force, and they had like a strong hatred for Force users, which is very interesting. And so, like, the Jedi had legends about them that they were created by dark side users of the Force to like hunt down Jedi. So yeah, super weird and creepy and awful.
It's like
that's another hard pass.
it's like a twisted mermaid siren looking thing.
Apparently, there's a queen. I got on the Wikipedia right now because I'm like, I've never heard of these before.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Old Republic. Okay, I don't remember ever
the MMO
these.
And they're like only just mentioned. They're never shown. There's like one drawing.
Interesting.
Yeah, apparently there's a queen.
Okay.
Don't mess with her.
Yeah, I had in one session of my Star Wars game, they're going through this like underground crypt, and one of the players couldn't make it like the next time for that session, so I needed to disappear him, and so I had one of these show up and basically like phase through the wall and then just like grab him and like kidnap him and pull him back through the wall, and he just like disappeared.
That's terrifying.
Turned into a whole thing, but yeah. That's the kind of
we
game
should have done
run.
the cute creatures at the end of this thing. I'm just saying.
Right?
Maybe.
I would like to sleep tonight. Thanks.
It's Halloween, Carla.
How about
All right.
okay? How about like not like super scary, but like initially scary rancors?
Yes.
Like because I don't know if it's in like new canon, but from what I understand, in like Legends canon, rancors are actually very like like they're docile, peaceful creatures. And the only reason why like the one we see in Jabba's palace is so like violent and like terrifying is because it's literally starving below
Interesting.
in the pit. Yeah.
So it's like
So
a
like
a dogfighting situation.
yeah, like it's I don't remember like where I heard this, but yeah, they're supposed to be like these, you know, creatures that just do their thing. They live, I think they're from Dathomir, right?
Yes. The witches of Dathomir would like tame them and ride them as pets.
Yeah. But if you've played Fallen Order, you know anything about Dathomir is not docile or peaceful. Look at
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they imply that with in the Bad Batch, Moochie was like because Moochie freaks out and is like violent, but only because like it's scared and like doesn't know where to go or what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's quite docile when properly dominated.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't think a lot of people know about that. That they're actually not like super aggressive.
Yeah. Amanda Parizo in the YouTube chat says Drengir in the High Republic. I don't know what this is, but it is a
yes. Good one, Amanda.
Species of like sentient amorphous carnivores from the wild space planet Mulita, who threatened to reap harvest across the galactic frontier during the High Republic era. They have twisted tentacles and a maw arrayed with teeth. The avaricious creatures shared a collective consciousness that could dominate and corrupt other minds, even those of Jedi. That's awesome. I'm looking at like character art of this, and it's like it's like a plant spider tentacle creature, but they kind of like share a hive mind, like a fungus or something. That's awesome.
I just finished that book. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Great suggestion.
Good call. Okay, I have another one.
Oh,
go for it.
Forget it. Well, know the truth.
That's a weird one.
Because like how creepy would that be? Like you're all like, you know, you're bound, you can't move. Like poor Bodhi. And then like this weird, like kind of like an octopus looking thing. I'm not quite sure. And it's like gonna like read your brain with its tentacles.
Ooh, and it's
another hard pass. No, thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Put that thing back where it came from.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. So now that we're properly creeped out, what about more unique creatures? I guess creatures that you wouldn't really see anywhere else but Star Wars?
There's a lot of those.
I will say, I know we mentioned it earlier, but the Dianoga, just this like trash monster with like an eye stalk that comes out. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in any other universe. And it's just done so matter-of-factly in the movie where they get into this trash compactor and then there's like a beat or two and then just this eye stalk pops out, looks around, goes back in. You're like, yep, that's a thing.
Yep.
We've also got the Sarlacc pit where it's just this stationary like worm in the desert that just like kind of sits there and waits for food to fall in. And also cool that like the local mob boss just like tosses victims in there. It
kind of reminds me of a Venus flytrap.
Yes, it does.
Right?
That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Without like the snapping jaws.
I feel like and I don't know if this is the right creature, but those nuns that look like fishes.
Yeah.
Oh, the
They're-
caretakers.
The caretakers, thank you. That was really unique because when they were described as like little fish characters, I was like, are they fish? But then they walk.
Yeah.
Not like I don't know. It was weird.
They made me think of this book series, Redwall, where you have like a bunch of nuns in this abbey, and but they're all like field mice and other woodland creatures, and they still have like the nun habits on, and
yeah,
very cute. What about
I forgot.
Geonosis Arena?
Yeah. So I like those just because they're so different from each other.
Yes.
And like, it's weird how like they all kind of paired with each of the, Padme, Obi-Wan, Anakin. Like they paired in this weird way with their victims.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think so it's the like cat lizard thing that Padme fights is a Nexu.
Mm-hmm.
The tall one with the big long legs, that's
the Ekle.
Yes, thank you. And then the one that Anakin fights, I always thought was a mudhorn. It's not. It's called a reek. So it's different from a mudhorn.
Gotcha. Yeah. Luna Girl says the giant space worm, the one that Han flew in, as far as a unique creature. Yeah, that to me that's peak like 70s pulp sci-fi where you think you're going into this cave, but no, it's just a giant worm and it's trying to eat you. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. That's another really good from a certain point of view story in the Empire Strikes Back one.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So if you haven't read that one, yeah.
What about favorite creatures? Kind of a personal favorite from all of y'all. I'll go first.
Okay.
I really love the crate dragon in The Mandalorian. They always kind of were mentioned here and there as part of the Mandalorian mythos. And apparently we see the bones of one in A New Hope. And to me, that was just kind of like set dressing. Like they're trying to visually demonstrate like how dangerous the desert is, and I never really imagined it as like an actual creature. But the whole encounter with the crate dragon in The Mandalorian, I was just glued to my seat the whole time. I thought it was very clever, the plan that they originally had for it to kind of destroy it, and then they have to improvise on the spot, and just the sheer size and scale of it. I immediately thought of it when I saw Dune, which we'll talk about later. And
no spoilers. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. It bears a resemblance to one of the creatures there, and it's just like the sense of awe that I felt that this thing just burrows through the desert and can do whatever it wants and no one can oppose it, and yet they find a way to defeat it. I think that's kind of peak fantasy sci-fi storytelling, and it just fits so well with everything that we know about Star Wars already, and in that season of The Mandalorian. So chef's kiss. That's what I think of crate.
I feel like I've shared a lot of my favorites within each of the topics. So I will share a favorite that I have not mentioned yet, because I do have more than one. And that is the frog lady from The Mandalorian.
Oh,
I think she's a great example of this Star Wars character that is very believable, that she's her own species and they live in a world and they are living their life, and she's this protective mother and, you know, devoted wife. And I love her. I think she's amazing.
Did they ever say what the name of her, like her species was?
I've only ever heard Frog Lady, so I would be very intrigued to know if she's got an actual species name.
Yeah,
but
Frog Lady and Frog Hubby. That's what we knew.
So
yeah,
and the crystal foxes, but I already talked about them.
Carla, do you have a favorite?
I do. So my favorite is the Varactyl. And if you guys don't
making up that word,
if you don't remember what this one is, this is the creature that Obi-Wan rides in Utapau and makes
good call. Great call.
Just for the fact that it makes that sound. Like, just the whole time it's just like yelping throughout like the whole like
get me out of here.
Yeah. And I'm like, I feel so bad when, like, you know, they shoot, you know, Order 66 and they shoot Obi-Wan down and it falls into the water. And like, I'm like, okay, great. Like Obi-Wan makes it, but I'm like, but what about the poor thing? Like, did it drown? Like, what's going on?
Oh,
yeah. That's definitely one of my favorites. So
excellent
that's
pick.
a good one.
It's
a good one.
If I had to go with like the more sentient creatures, Droopy McCool is my guy. So he's like,
there you go.
He's like second. So but yeah, the Varactyl. That's my pick.
I have a question.
Yes.
The chat is talking about space whales.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Why do I not know what a space whale is?
Have you watched Rebels yet?
I haven't.
Okay.
That's why.
When you get to Rebels, Heather, you'll know.
Noted.
Yeah.
Don't worry, friends. Winter's coming up.
Yeah, Purrgil. Purrgil. That's what they're called.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a reference to Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home.
Purrgil?
Anyway, there's the space whales. They got space whales in Star Trek. Mm-hmm. They're not called Purrgil, they're called like Gorbamander or something, but they're space
like
whales.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Gorbamander, Gorbazard.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Gorbelian.
Yeah.
All right. So to wrap up this discussion about the monsters and creatures of Star Wars, I guess, like, what do you think kind of creatures we can look forward to? And I guess I'm mostly interested in, like, how do monsters and creatures feature into as like a storytelling device for Star Wars? Like, what is so what's a certain uniqueness about them that helps Star Wars tell stories in ways that won't work with other sci-fi or other fictional works? And maybe what can we expect with that going forward with these new series like Ahsoka and so on and so forth? Because right now I'm thinking Ahsoka's got that like Force Owl, and it's it's taking something that we know and that we're familiar with, but putting a different twist on it in a way where just seeing that owl, we know we get that lump in our throat, and we're like, oh, Ahsoka's here. So in that sense, it's taking something mundane and giving it this newer significance. And I wonder if we're going to have something like that in the future with shows like Ahsoka, I'm also just thinking Mandalorian didn't fall into this trap, but it's a potential trap where, like, Rogue One had like no creatures in it. You had like different like sentient alien species and stuff, but no like real weird like animals or monsters or whatever. And
Except for
well,
Gullet.
except for Bor Gullet. I'm realizing as I say this. So they blew all their weird monster budget on like one creature. And
there was that other one, like it was almost like a Wampa looking creature that like the
Helping out the
partisans go
rebels?
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but it looks like a Wampa. It's not a Wampa, but he looks like a Wampa, and he helps to seal back the kyber crystals from the Empire.
I do remember that.
But yeah,
it is a little light on creatures, is what I'm trying to say, and I'm hoping that going forward that Star Wars never loses that part of its DNA, that these weird and fantastical creatures are part and parcel of the whole Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of go like hand in hand with droids. Like maybe like, you have like movies like Rogue One, or even like Solo wasn't really too monster creature heavy. You had like like hound things on Corellia, and then you had the big creature that was in the maw.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise like there weren't too many like monsters other than like the sentient beings that are there. But I think it kind of goes hand in hand with droids. Like there's definitely gotta be something.
Yeah.
There's gotta be something there. Yeah.
I mean, it rounds out the universe. If it was just people in space, it wouldn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then you bring, droids in, but then you're still missing that animal, for lack of a different word, vibe. It rounds it out. And I think, again, I haven't seen Rebels and I haven't completed Clone Wars. Please don't come at me, YouTube. But, like Aaron is saying with the owl and in some things, and the internet ruins everything about the Loth wolves, I want to say, that are in Rebels. It's almost like it's the, like in the witches world, like familiars where animals are bonded with people and stuff, similar to how, droids potentially are bonded to people, have their master. I think it would be stupid if they didn't continue on introducing that. It just makes it more dynamic.
Yeah. And I think it also just serves to remind the audience and the heroes that the galaxy is a big and weird and dangerous place. And it's also uncivilized. And I think that's a huge part of a lot of different genres of fiction, but especially Star Wars, and kind of the roots of where it comes from is like, you think that where you are is safe, but it is not. And you think you have everything figured out. And then a rodent of unusual size attacks you.
Watch out for those womp rats.
Yeah, there's something humbling about it and surprising about it. But then rarely you have these creatures that you kind of are able to like peacefully bond with and have an understanding with, like the Porgs. So they serve a lot of different functions, but you can't really have the Star Wars universe without them. I think that's probably the most important point.
Random thought here, because I was just thinking about like Mandalorian, because like in the first season when he meets Queel and he's trying to learn how to ride the blurgs, right, to get to where the asset is.
The blurgs, how'd I forget?
Yeah. And Queel says, because Mando's like struggling, and Queel says, your ancestors rode the great mythosaur. What, like, are we ever going to see a mythosaur? Because
I hope we don't. And here's why. Myth is right in the name, and
Touche.
whatever we build up,
Touche.
here's my point. Whatever we build up in our heads is, let me reverse that. Whatever we see on screen is just going to pale compared to what we've built up into our heads. And
good point.
the whole point is that it's these legendary creatures that the Mandalorians were so badass that they tamed and rode into battle. And it's like, it's better if your brain just fills in the gaps and we move on. I hope they don't over-explain it. It's the same thing that happened with the Kessel Run. Like, you know, Luke's trying to find a pilot for the ship, and they need a fast ship so they can escape the Empire. And Han Solo was like, fast ship. This thing made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. And, you know, for decades, Star Wars fans have built the Kessel Run up in their minds as like this, whatever it is. It could be a race. It could be a trading route, whatever. And I think when we actually saw it on screen, I can speak for everyone, of course, but it was just disappointing because it was this huge legend that no matter what they showed us, it would have fallen short. It was better just say it and move on. So yeah, theoretically, there's a part of my brain that wants to see what a mythosaur is and how amazing and badass it is, but I think whatever I imagine is probably better than that. Sorry.
No apologies.
And that's the tea
That's
with Aaron Julian.
There's been
Welcome
Aaron's
to our TED Talk.
soapbox.
But can I plug this book for a second?
Please do.
Because guys, like I picked this up on a whim. Like I had like an Amazon gift card, and I love like all of the like coffee table books, like The Art of and all that jazz. And this one was just so happened to be like the exact price that my gift card was. So I was like, I'm gonna grab this one. But yeah, it's the Alien Archive, and it just has like, it's a really, really cool book. It has not only like monsters and stuff, but it has like all the sentient creatures, and it kind of like breaks it down into like habitats or environments. So like desert planets, water planets, ice planets. And it gives you the names and where they're from, a little bit about their species or the creatures and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're like into these kind of books, this one is super, super cool. And it just gives you a lot of little like tidbit facts about, species or like monsters that like are in the background of these movies. And you're like, oh yeah, like I remember seeing that. Oh, that's what that thing's called? Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's a good one.
Awesome.
Pick it up.
Nice recommendation. Okay, well, it's about that time of the show where we got to pay some bills. So Carla, take it away.
All right. And while we're on the topic of books, guys, you should check out Audible. Yeah. So you can support us through Audible by getting some entertainment and education while you're listening. There's over 425,000 titles to choose from. Lots of Star Wars stuff in there. So definitely recommend that. So you can go to audibletrial.com/WSTR and you get a free 30-day trial. That includes a free audiobook of your choice and 2 free Audible originals, which is a pretty sweet deal. And if you don't like it, guess what? You can cancel it and everybody wins. So go for it. Yeah. Again, that's audibletrial.com/WSTR. Yeah.
Nice.
And
nicely done.
we are also on Patreon. So if you guys want to support us additionally, that's patreon.com/WSTR media. We've got lots of cool content on there. Heather's Holocron, Carla's Costuming Corner, Starside Chat, and Aaron, I believe there's some new stuff coming from you, right? Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there is. I've started a new show called Tabletop Workbench, and it's basically me talking about my Star Wars campaign for as long as I can. It's a look behind the scenes of kind of like all the work and decisions that go into being a dungeon master, and it's a way for me to try to kind of crystallize my own thinking as I uh, uh, plan these sessions for my players and what decisions I make for that. And so, if you ever wanted to kind of peek behind the curtain for what that process looks like, this show is for you. I also talk about kind of like after action reports for sessions that I've actually run. I just ran a session this past Saturday and spent like almost an hour talking about it, how I planned for it, what I thought would happen, what actually happened, and basically like what I wished I maybe could have done differently, or what I thought went really well. And if tabletop gaming is your thing, I hope that's a helpful or entertaining resource for you. And that's only available if you support us on Patreon. So if you are so inclined, please go check it out.
I want to call it like your like professional development of like your Star Wars D&D.
Yeah.
That's like
it really is.
Very cool. Yeah.
There's a couple things I hope to do. One, I just want to talk about it because I don't have anybody to talk about it with, and I think it's cool. But also, I hope that it inspires people to actually consider taking up tabletop gaming for themselves and wanting to run it, because you really don't need much at all to actually run it. And I hope by just like lifting the curtain, you could see like, oh, this is what's going on. Like I could do that. I hope that is what happens. So yeah, if that tickles your fancy, go check it out.
Cool. And just to shout out our current patrons, Jeremy Myers, Scarif Scuttlebutt, Elena Strikes, Nicholas Schaefer, and Rural Farm Boy. So thank you guys for continuing to support us. We love it. We love it. And also too, our merch store. We've got our merch store. What is the link again? I'm forgetting. store.wstrmedia.com. Yeah, so we've got lots of cool swag over there. So definitely go check that out. Yeah, bills are paid, and it was garbage day for me today. So I'm ready to take out that trash.
Let's do it. Okay,
so last week we talked with our friends from Talking Bay 94, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brandon Wienerny.
Yes, thank you. And we were discussing Roger Christian, who, if you don't know, had a lot to do with a lot of the props that we see in the Star Wars films, mainly the original trilogy. And our question was, in A New Hope, what is your favorite prop? As always, drop the comments. But our 4 choices were the DL-44, aka Han's Blaster, the E-11, aka the Stormtrooper Blaster, the lightsaber, or the Gatterfree Stick, which is the Tusken Raider.
The dental implement.
Yeah, so yes, exactly. The dental pick. Ugh, I hate that thing. Okay. But we had a few write-ins, which was fun.
Ooh.
From the Backyard TARDIS. I like that name. They said Han's Blaster because it auto shoots first. But that's a good one. And then Conversations. Hey guys. They said close second, lightsaber training droid. Also,
that's a good pick.
A good one.
That is good.
Yeah. So yeah, those were our write-ins. So thanks guys for sending those in. But do we want number 1 first, or do we want to go from the bottom up?
Bottom up.
Okay.
Let's do bottom up.
So last came the Gafferty Stick. So,
Oh,
yeah,
sad
9% with that
excavator
one.
noises.
All right. Then was the E11. I'm a little surprised by that one because that's pretty like well known, you know. E11. Then the DL44, Hans Blaster. And then, guys, no shock here, but lightsaber took the gold. So
Yeah.
I mean,
That seems right.
like it's iconic. You can't beat that, you know. It's pretty cool.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool. Pretty cool.
But I have another bag of trash.
Stop it.
It's too much trash.
I know. Too much. It's too much. Yeah, so craziness. It's been 6 years since we had our little teaser of The Force Awakens, little 88-second trailer. I think that was this past week. So we were feeling a little nostalgic, throwing it back. And we wanted to know what your favorite moment was of that 88-second teaser trailer. And the choices were BB-8 rolling through the desert, Finn's reveal, Kylo's lightsaber, or the Falcon flying. Let's go around for this one. What was your favorite moment with that? Heather, I think I know what yours is.
I was like, do you need to ask me? They've given me a new droid to love. And a droid that we haven't seen move that way before either.
Mhm.
So clearly BB-8 takes my vote.
I'm gonna have to say Kylo Ren's lightsaber, just because I think symbolically, at least, it's just way different than any lightsaber we've seen before, and it kind of symbolizes this movement to like a new era of like we don't know what's going to happen with these new characters and this new technology, and it came to symbolize Kylo Ren and how like unstable and just like purely powerful he was. So I think just visually that was the most interesting part of the trailer for me.
I think for me, what got me was the Falcon right at the end.
Yeah.
Like, just like the way it was shot. And then, of course, they throw in like the Star Wars theme, you know? And like,
they know how to get you.
It's just because I always remember that moment watching that because I was with my aunt who like is big into Star Wars with me, my cousin who's like a little bit older, and then there's me, and then my cousin's son. So literally you have 4 generations of Star Wars fans watching this trailer, and like we all had the same like reaction, like just like teary-eyed, like, oh my God, like Star Wars is back. And like we were just so excited. So like when that last part hit with the Falcon and the music, it was done. Like it was done. So yeah. But I think that whole like 88 seconds, like I think everybody was kind of blown away, you know, in their own way.
Yeah.
True.
Little did we know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's different.
It's a little bit of a different view now, but yeah. Let's see. So I'll go top down this time. So
right,
everybody loved the Falcon flying. That was number 1.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Number 2, Kylo's lightsaber.
Nice.
Yep.
3rd, Finn's reveal. And last was BB-8.
Oh.
But like
Shameful.
Sad for that little droid.
But again, like I just think like all of these moments were just so cool in their own. Because again, like everything was new except the Falcon. But like, yeah, like the lightsaber, BB-8, this rolling droid. And like even like Finn, like you weren't expecting that. You know, you saw a desert planet and he like pops up. You're like, whoa, okay. You know? But we did get, hold on. We got 2 write-ins. Backyard TARDIS. I'm all about them droids. And it's the little gif of BB-8 in that clip. They see me rolling. They hate it.
Nice.
Yeah. And our friend Ro put the Falcon flying and said, come on, bruh. And Chantel. Hey, Chantel. She says, for real, I rarely side with Ro, but I have to on this one. Falcon all the way, baby.
Too funny.
Yeah. Yes. That was a fun poll. I like that. That was good. So thanks guys for writing into that one too. And with that, done with trash.
Perfect.
And I believe we have some intercepted Imperial transmissions.
We do indeed.
All right. So I think we've got a voicemail.
Yes, we do. Let's roll it.
All right.
What's up, gang? This is Ro from the Scare Scuttlebutt podcast. So you posed the question on Twitter, what's the most ridiculous Star Wars item that I have bought? And my co-host also asked, ridiculous as in silly or ridiculous as expensive? Well, thanks for clearing that up for us. I have one story, which is one of many ridiculously expensive items that I have purchased throughout the years, the first of many. If you remember a while back, the Smithsonian Institute had the Star Wars exhibit. My business partner and I traveled to Washington, D.C. to check it out. We're both Star Wars fans. We had a good time. And as you know, every museum empties out conveniently into the gift shop where you can drop a nice coin. We separated into the gift shop, and I was shopping around. And at the time, there was a company called Icons, and they created a museum quality lightsaber. And as you know, my favorite Star Wars character is Darth Vader. They had a Darth Vader lightsaber in a case that was for sale, autographed by James Earl Jones and David Prowse. I had my credit card ready to go and grabbed it. My business partner said, where did you go? And I came around the corner with a large box, and I said to him, in shock, I said to him, I just bought a lightsaber for $1,000. And his jaw dropped, but it was the best purchase because I still have it. Icons no longer is around as a company, but I still have the packaging. I still have the lightsaber. It's a very beautiful piece. Like I said, it's museum quality. Came in a case, and it is one of the centerpieces of my collection, and I love it. So if you are a collector and you are a serious collector, you probably have similar stories of crazy, funky things that you've bought as a collector. So that is my story. I'm sticking with it. Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work. May the force be with you. And that's the Scuttlebutt.
Oh, Ro, thank you so much for that confessional. But man, what a cool experience.
Yes. I feel like my wallet hurts and I wasn't even involved.
I mean,
No.
but James Earl Jones and David Prowse on that's
$1,000 was a
Yeah.
steal.
Special.
Yeah. That's definitely one of a kind.
How cool is that? We also got a email from Luna Girl.
We did. Yeah. Kelly over from Sidebar Cantina. She says, "Hello, fellow Star Wars nerds. I have the biggest soft spot for R2D2. Heather, where you at, girl?" As he is, and she like stresses us, the number one most underrated character in the entire galaxy. 3 exclamation points. That's serious. From the original trilogy to the sequels and through all of the animated series in between, R2 is there and he's seen some things. Next time you decide to curl up and do a Star Wars marathon, keep a notebook and pen close by and tally up how many characters would no longer be with us if that cute little astromech wasn't there to save the day. Hashtag R2 for president. And that comes from
Amazing.
Luna Girl, Kelly. Thanks, Kelly.
Hi.
Yeah. Hashtag agreed.
Luna Girl's in chat, and she says, I hope Ro told his wife that it was on sale.
Ooh.
Oh, man. Never
Get
change.
that discount.
Oh, that's so good.
That's all we got for intercepted Imperial transmission.
What?
Yeah. But yeah, guys, if you ever want to drop us a line or email us, it's mailbox. Why can't I remember this right now? Oh my
You
gosh.
got it.
You were doing really well.
You're almost there.
Mailbox at wstrmedia.com.
Hey, you
No.
got it.
Yeah. I like blanked for a second. Yeah. And then I'm not even gonna try to remember our phone number. I've said it so many times and I can't remember it because it's not right in front of me. 630-557 WSTR 630-557
9787.
Thank you.
That's the only part I remember is the 9787. All right.
Yeah.
We'll get
so,
it by
yeah.
episode 400.
It'll be fine. It'll be great.
Guys, I've been on this show for 2 years and I still can't get it. It's like,
We're trying,
Oh,
y'all.
man. All right. Well, it seems like I think we've reached the point in the show where we're going a little batty. So let's just rein it in with the news of the week. All right. Well, if you've been living under a rock or you've not been on social media, this is important information you must have. Comicbook.com. Headlines. Hayden Christensen returning in Ahsoka Star Wars series.
Oh, my God.
oh my God.
I'm not even sure I need to read any more of the article because we're all just so gosh darn excited.
That's it.
Done.
That's it. That's all you need to know. Okay. Why, internet, do you hate a girl? Okay. Was that too hard? I didn't think that was too hard. All right. So Hayden Christensen, our beloved Anakin Skywalker, is extending his return in the Star Wars galaxy by joining the upcoming Ahsoka series on Disney Plus. So we know that he is already returning as Anakin in the Obi-Wan series, but news broke this past Friday that he will be back again. A curious turn since the series presumably takes place after Anakin's death, but plot details are still being kept under wraps. Christensen stars alongside series lead Rosario Dawson, who was debuted in the 2nd season of The Mandalorian. The show is being written by Lucasfilm's Dave Filoni, who of course created the character in the Clone Wars, and Filoni and Jon Favreau are the executive producers for this new show. So, of course, Christensen played Anakin Skywalker in both Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, showing the character's dark side. We see in the Clone Wars animated series, Ahsoka being revealed as the apprentice of our young Skywalker friend, so forth and so on. Earlier this year, rumors began to circulate suggesting that Ahsoka would be on the hunt for Grand Admiral Thrawn. So, how are we feeling about this? Are we excited? Speculating what's going to happen between the two? Theories? No expectations, so you enjoy it? All of the above?
So I'm thinking, because we have Obi-Wan, right? And now Ahsoka.
Yes.
Very distant timelines. You have right after episode 3, essentially, and then you have right after episode 6. So I'm thinking Obi-Wan, like we're actually going to see like maybe like him in the Vader suit, maybe some flashbacks. I'm thinking with Ahsoka, maybe some flashbacks, but more maybe like Force Ghosts coming to her. It's just interesting, like with the last season of Clone Wars. Yeah. Are you done with Clone Wars, Heather? Okay, so yeah, it's interesting.
Zip that lip.
That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, that's where like my brain is going. Like I think we're gonna see kind of 2 trajectories of Vader.
Sure.
With these 2 shows.
Excellent.
For similar reasons, and I will say nothing more than a thing that happens in Rebels. This is super interesting to see what might occur between Anakin and Ahsoka. In Ahsoka, forgive me. Do we know when in the timeline the Ahsoka series takes place? Is it before or after The Mandalorian? I would assume before.
They haven't said. I'm gonna assume it's maybe gonna be like around, maybe like a little before, maybe a little after, but they haven't confirmed.
Because if it's like original trilogy, then there's a possibility for like a Darth Vader Ahsoka like showdown again. So there's that, and then besides that, it would be a Force Ghost thing. So, would he then be kind of redeemed Darth Vader, or would this be kind of a hunting, if you will? I don't know. There seems to be so much possibility, and yet so constrained at the same time. I don't really know.
All I'm thinking of is how Return of the Jedi put in Hayden Christensen's Force Ghost.
They knew.
So
they knew.
Yeah, maybe Ahsoka, that show is gonna like be like, see, like now it all makes sense. Why is it there?
Yeah.
Well, what I do know is that we don't have release dates yet on either of the shows. But with Filoni and Favreau behind the wheel, I think it's pretty safe to say it's going to be an interesting ride and some good storytelling. So if you're like me, you better get on the Clone Wars and Rebels bandwagon so you know what you're doing come showtime. So that was really just for me, not for anybody else.
There you go.
I hope we get some more info, maybe like more info, like dates wise, like with releases and stuff, on the upcoming, the Disney Plus Day, Disney Investors Day, right? Isn't that coming up November or something?
Disney Day.
There's a
Disney
thing.
Insiders.
There's a thing coming up. Yeah. There's a thing coming up where they like.
We love the Mouse Day.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hopefully we'll get some more info when that comes up.
Some tidbits. Looking forward to it.
Disney Plus Day on November 12th.
Hey, there we go.
That's it.
This just
I
in.
wasn't dreaming.
No, you're not. Alrighty. All right. Well, let's move forward, shall we? Gizmodo.com says the coolest Star Wars, Power Rangers, and Transformers toys revealed at Hasbro PlusCon.
PulseCon.
What is Hasbro PlusCon, you ask? I don't know. The first day of reveals for Hasbro's PlusCon fan event is over, and there's lots and lots of goodies from the worlds of Power Rangers, Transformers, and of course, Star Wars. Basically preparing to rob you blind and leave you with nothing but piles and piles of action figures. Isn't that just the way of the world? There is a Power Rangers Lightning Collection Lord Zed helmet.
Ooh.
For you Power Ranger fans. Been a quick minute. Power Rangers Lightning Collection Deluxe Pirantis head. Kind of cool.
Right.
Kind of cool. We've got some more Power Ranger action figures. Oh my, they've changed since I was young. There's the Lightning Collection with Dino Fury Red, Dino Charge Pink, Zeo Cog, and Wild Force Lunar Wolf. I mean, the names are really cool. There is the Behold Galvatron Transformers, the movie Unicron companion pack. I mean, there's just tons of good stuff here. But there is also the Star Wars Vintage Collection, including Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano, little Padawan Anakin Skywalker with his little random helmet on. He looks kind of dorky. I'm not gonna lie.
That helmet is way too big for his.
It's just way too big for him. But they are 4 reissues, and they are a 3.75 inch size. Pricing will be set at $15 and available next summer. We have some new Black Series coming out. We've got Tython Boba Fett and Marak Miggs Mayfield. And they're pretty cool looking.
The Bald Boys.
So, the article does not include any price points. So that tells you something.
It's like a restaurant with no prices on the menu.
Just putting it out there, kids.
Market price.
Yeah. We have an additional Black Series of Cobb Vanth in the I'm wearing my dad's armor outfit, where it doesn't quite fit him. Still pretty cool. He'll be a 6-inch figure. There's a Vintage Collection Navarro Cantina playset.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, based on the Navarro Cantina scene in season 1 of the show of The Mandalorian. Again, no price point set. Just, saying, this one's kind of fun. The Vintage Collection Rebel Fleet Trooper Pack.
The way that they're posed, it looks like a boy band.
I mean,
does it?
Right? Kinda.
Like they're done with their whole number, and then they just end. Like
they're like pose. The one guy in the slightly different outfit because everybody else are backup singers. Girl, I got you. So, but for this 4-pack, you can get them for $42. So just about $10 a pop. And you too can make music videos with them. Oh no, this is kind of okay. Carla, are you sitting down?
I am.
Great.
I have peeked at this.
You have peeked? Have you peeked? So we have the Black Series Leia Organa Force FX Elite lightsaber.
Ooh.
And there's no price on it.
It's so nice.
So
Well, I can tell you this. It ain't expensive as the one that I have. Like, there's no, yeah. It looks very nice though.
Yeah, so it looks pretty cool. The set includes a removable light up blue blade. So,
I like that they have the blade removable now with these.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had the Ray one of the Black series, and I just remember being frustrated because I'm tiny and like the blade was just so big when I would bring it out for troops. Be like, this looks ridiculous. Like I wish I could swap it out for another blade. So yeah, I like that they added that feature. And the stand is really nice too. Nice and sleek.
So the next item I do have to mention, because 2 of the 3 items are right up Heather's alley. This is the Star Wars Black Series Galaxy's Edge 3 packs. The first pack is a collection of droids. Hello. We've got a battle droid. We've got a pit droid. Is it CB23? And another one whose name I can't read. K7R1. And a teeny tiny little Babu Frick.
Oh my God.
Teeny. And then fun, because then they have a creature pack. Perfect for today's conversation. You've got some monkey lizards. You've got a bogling, which is also pretty adorable. The porgs, and then of course a Minoc, because why not?
Hey, there you go.
There we go. Nope, I was like, it took too long. Wasn't that funny?
Well done.
And then the last series, we've got an AT-AT driver, an R5 astromech droid, a mouse droid, and then good old General Hux, possibly before his meltdown. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. Possibly. Oh, speaking of creatures, we also have the Black Series Maldo Cress, Mandalorian, and Grogu. So we've got a little Mando and Grogu, and one of those weird spider things.
Oh my God.
Just as terrifying in a toy as it was on the show.
Yeah.
And then HasLab Star Wars, the Black Series Rancor. You guys, this was like all of our things we've talked about today.
Mm-hmm. They knew.
Hasbro's listening to us. The Rancor is going to be about $350. Dun, dun, dun.
Apparently it's the largest Black Series figure. I'm watching. There's like a little video playing.
It's 17.5 inches tall.
42 inches wide?
He's a big boy.
That's literally almost the size of me. I'm not serious. Yeah, it looks.
It's going to get you.
Yeah.
So all of that to say, kids, hold on to your wallets, or you too will be calling into the show like Ro saying, here's what I spent my money on.
Save up your twist ties, turn in those soda cans you picked up on the side of the road. Do something.
Oh, golly. All right. Well, if you're still with us, let's do this final news announcement here. FoxNews.com headlines: Star Wars star Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billie Lourd, shares throwback photo on late actress's birthday. So on Thursday of last week, Carrie Fisher would have turned 65. And her daughter, Billie Lourd, who we know has been in her share of the films as well, shared a beautiful tribute to her mom. The caption was filled with some loving emojis. Happy birthday to our princess and angel Carrie, said one of the fans. Another, wrote happy birthday, we miss you. And so just some really beautiful photos expressed. And so Carrie Fisher, we miss you and happy heavenly birthday.
Not much more to add.
Not much more. So, but now I think it's time that we take the news from global to internal. Friends, it is time for Cantina Chat.
Oh my God. Welcome to the part of the show where we talk about everything geeky and weird going on in our lives. Heather, you seem excited to chat.
Always. Well, I am just really enjoying my school, doing my sign language stuff. I got to class early last week and had a very bumpy but successful 10-minute conversation with my professor who is deaf, and I felt like I was conquering all the worlds. So that was pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
Hey. And then I recently went to the zoo this past weekend, and I fed a giraffe.
What?
And it was the coolest thing ever.
I'm jelly.
I'm just saying, if you ever have the chance, my answer is do it. Tons of fun, not nearly as terrifying as their giant gray tongues suggest. So I recommend it. So that's been super cool. I finished watching the What If series. Not really my jam. I'm just going to put it out there. I know they were good. My friend that I watched it with, she loved it. Just kind of not my thing. What's a girl to do? I finally watched Black Widow. That movie. I really enjoyed that flick. That was pretty good. And I had something else and it just swoosh left my brain. Because I got so excited about the giraffe. So we'll just put a pin in it, and I'm sure I'll have more next time.
Sounds great. Carla, what have you been up to?
Nothing too crazy. As you know, Critical Role campaign 3 started on Thursday, so that was exciting. Some surprises that I was not expecting. And now I'm like, crap, I need to finish watching Exandria.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, spoilers. I don't know how many people watch Critical Role that watch our show, but yeah, when like they brought Robbie in, I was like, oh my God, no way.
Yeah.
Like, this is so cool. So yeah, very excited for that. Like, Brian and I are going to try to like keep on top of that, because if you lose track of that, like you got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
But it like kind of sucks that they're streaming Pacific time, because that's what, 7. So it's 10 here, and I think I was telling you, Aaron, I'm like, yo, I'm not pulling at 2 a.m. Like, no, I can't. Like, I can't do that. So we did like halfway, and then
it was like clocking towards 1 a.m. for me, and I'm like, Matt, please wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Yeah. But I am liking it. So, and it's interesting because like Exandria was my first viewing of like a D&D, campaign. And like, obviously they're all voice actors. So obviously like they like step it up, a couple notches. But it's interesting to see like the difference between Abrea and Matt DMing. Like there's definitely a difference there. So, but Sam is like, oh my gosh, cracking me up the whole time. Like, love it.
Ludicrous. Unbelievable.
It's so good. So gonna keep up with that. I've been catching up on a lot of reading and audiobooks. I finished Into the Dark, the High Republic, a young adult novel.
Nice.
So now I'm moving on to what's the next one? The Rising Storm or something like that. So I gotta start that one. And then I'm getting through the Canto Bite book, which is better than I expected it to be. It's just like a collection of, there's like 4 shorter stories. So I've been getting through that. And then reading this podcast I listen to, Stuff You Should Know. It's pretty good. They put out a book last year, so it's like a couple of topics that they picked. So I've been kind of like perusing and reading through that. So that, and
Awesome.
then in the spirit of Halloween, Brian and I watched The Nightmare Before Christmas last evening. So it's always a classic. I love that. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Yeah. Danny Elfman. I love all his music. So good.
Awesome. I
What
watched
about you?
Dune.
Dune.
I watched Dune. My
Thumbs up.
my roommate has been on this crusade to get everybody to watch Dune in the theater so that we'll get the part 2. And then I did a little research and made a discovery that whole thing's a complete lie. They're making part 2. It's a gimmick pulled by Warner to get us into the theaters. So as soon as he learned that, he's like, "You want to just watch it here?" And I'm like, "Okay." So we watched it on HBO Max. And man, I've had zero exposure to Dune before this. I've not read the book. I've not seen any of the movies or the miniseries. And I just fell in love with this world. It's kind of the closest thing I felt to watching the original Star Wars. Just a beautifully shot movie. I'm a big fan of Denis Villeneuve, and I can kind of see now that like Arrival and Blade Runner 2049 were kind of like rehearsals for this movie, and I'm glad he kind of took the time to get his feet wet with these grand big sci-fi movies before moving on. So highly recommend it. Go see it in theaters if you want, but don't feel pressured to because it's a done deal. Then if you're watching the YouTube live stream, you've probably noticed that I look a little different. I've been playing around with a new camera setup. Dug out my mirrorless camera, and you don't want to know like the kind of jank setup it's in, but it's currently like on a tripod balancing on the top of my computer, hanging upside down, counterweighted by a bag of hammers. And I did a bunch of software trickery to flip it around, and I also set it up so I could just toggle between this and my regular webcam. And so if like one fails, I can go to the other. It's kind of bizarre, but it's working somewhat well, and it shouldn't, but whatever. Having lots of fun with that. Then I spent some time with Tabletop Workbench and ran a game this weekend, and it's good to be back. It's been a while since I've ran a game, so it was nice to get back on a saddle again, and hoping to have some new videos and new experiences for that soon. So then Todd wrote in. He said kind of slow on the nerd stuff this week. Had a nice couple days off with the fam in Door County, Wisconsin. Great place to visit. He did acquire his Walmart exclusive Boba Fett from New York Comic Con, but it won't be here until December.
Like a Black Series, a Funko? Like, I'm interested what he managed to get.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's about it for Cantina Chat and about it for this episode. So thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR, Galactic Public Access. You can find us on the socials, Heather at Hawk Awesome, Carla at Carla Marie Giac, Todd at Tizad, and myself at Aaron Julian. We're also part of the Red 5 Network, a great network of Star Wars podcasts. You could check them out at Red 5 Network. And of course, our own tag at WSTR Media. So please, we want to hear from you. So comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star rating, we will return the favor by throwing some swag directly into your face as hard as we can, hoping to leave a mark, because you left a mark on our hearts. You can retweet or email us a screenshot of the rating. We'll read it on the next episode of the podcast. You could drop us an email at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Leave us a voicemail like Ro from the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast, and we'll play it on an upcoming episode of the podcast. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. and our merch store at store.wstrmedia.com and patreon.com/WSTRmedia to join the fellow patrons who are enjoying exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out in the YouTube chat. We love you. If you want to join them, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time-ish, that's going to be livestream.wstrmedia.com. Next week, episode 244. I've got a secret for you. We're having Lunar Girl on from the Sidebar Cantina coming out of the show, and we're doing an Imperial inspection of none other than Luke Skywalker. So please tune in next week for that. All right. There's only one way to end this podcast. Now this is
Podcasting.